Good morning. We are brand new on YouTube this morning. We have been streaming this game on Twitch. And if you're here, chances are you've probably seen some of the shorts that I cut up from that. And what I've decided to do, because I've spent a little bit of time on just kind of Final Fantasy VII social media, on the subreddit a little bit over the last week or so. And I've realized that one thing that's going on that I can kind of help with is that this, the remake just came out for the Switch too. And there are a lot of like new players coming to the game who have never played the original, and they love it, but they are super confused because that game assumes that you know a little bit about the original game. And I don't really think that's fair. I mean, if you're, 17 years old, this game is almost twice your age. So, I understand that if you don't want to play an old game, but I can play through it with you, and I can explain some of the stuff that Remake leaves out in favor of all those side quests. But we'll get there. We'll discuss that. So we're just going to start the game completely over. We haven't streamed it on YouTube. We have only streamed it on Twitch. So let's and I'm kind of abandoning ship on Twitch, to be completely honest. Like, I am... I don't like the system over there, but I can use what I've learned to... Yeah, we understand the controls. This ain't our first rodeo. And here we go. As I recall, what happened with this game when we got to play it is that this was supposed to be the new hotness at Christmas in 1996. So my mom pre-ordered it for my brother for Christmas. And we had been waiting for this game for 3 months. And when we finally got it home and we got that new game started and we were seeing this screen, we were just sitting there just completely unprepared for what was going to happen over the next month or so while we made our way through this game without the aid of, people like me showing you how to go through it step by step in video form. I'm kind of trying to let the game breathe a little bit in these parts, because you kind of have to understand the ambiance here, because this is the PlayStation 1. We were only a year or two removed. Like, the Super Nintendo was still Nintendo's current system at this time. So look at like Super Mario World, and then look at this. Our minds were blown. Our hearts were won. It was on. Like, and I have loved this game ever since. I've probably played through it at least once a year since it came out. With maybe a couple gap years in between. There was a period of time I didn't play a lot of games, so. And we're introducing the cast of characters, our trio of sidekicks, Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. Barrett, leader of the rebel group, revolutionary environmental protection group Avalanche, and our hero Cloud Strife in the purple with the spiky blonde hair. And here we go into our first battle. And at this point, we don't really have a whole lot. A lot of people kind of want to play around in the menus here, and you absolutely can. These guys are understandably the easiest enemies in the game. So we're just going to melee attack them, easy. I am really, really stingy with MP in general as far as this game goes. Like, I try to conserve my MP and not use magic spells. It just doesn't feel efficient to me. So there's two groups being introduced right here that are going to be really important for at least the next 10 to 12 hours of gameplay. Avalanche, who we've already kind of discussed. They're like a like a rebel liberation, fighting the good fight kind of group, like revolutionaries. And then soldier is kind of like special forces in what acts as a military in this universe. So basically, if we were to transport this over, to our world, wow, you used to be a Green Beret. Not every day you find one in a group like us, ragtag bunch of, revolutionaries. Yeah, see, soldier, aren't they the enemy? Yeah, he quit. He's a defector. And I'm just going with the basic names because I feel like, we can have I have a feeling we're going to play through this game, more than once. I have like a whole plan for how we're going to do this. But I think for now, I'm just going to keep all the original character names because it's going to be less confusing if you're a new player trying to figure out who Doritos is otherwise, right? And Barrett's the leader of the group. Avalanche. Now, another thing I do kind of want to point out with this game, if you're coming into it, like they've optimized it a little bit, but when it was released, the DualShock controller was not yet a thing. So there are some times that using sticks to navigate this is a little weird, especially with this kind of isometric point of view you have a lot of the time in like scenes like this. So I would recommend making use of your D-pad, which is not something we're used to doing in modern games, but that was all we had when this game came out. And really the environments were designed assuming that you had, 8 directions and not infinite ones. So sometimes it'll get confused if you're using your analog sticks. Just be prepared for that. And what we're doing is we're bombing a reactor. Yeah, that's your first time in a reactor. Yeah, the Shinra is kind of, it's a huge corporation that also sort of serves as a government in this universe. So they're kind of one and the same. There's not really a separate. The Shinra's kind of it. They kind of control everything. They control the power. And that's why we're blowing up this reactor, because the substance we'll go with substance, that they're using to power these reactors is called Mako energy. And it is mined out of the earth. And it is basically the life force that flows through all things. That this planet basically operates with a big soup of life force circulating throughout it. And we are going to blow up a reactor that runs off of burning up that life source for electricity. See, and this is like a really good example of like the D-pad thing, because the game, for whatever reason, doesn't like want to seat Cloud right unless you're like perfectly lined up. So you kind of have to punch around otherwise. Yeah, little by little, the reactors are going to drain the life out, and that'll be that. And Cloud is he's a disaffected youth. He has defected from the military. He's decided he's going to make a name for himself as a sort of hired gun. He's fallen in with this group because they wanted basically a guy with some cred for security. So he's basically just, for enough money, I will protect anybody. I kind of referred to Cloud as a hired gun. If I'm speaking accurately, Cloud is a hired sword. And we get in our second battle, which is going to go almost exactly the same as the first. I have a lot of speculation about what it is that I think these guys are. I think they're kind of like turrets from Portal. I actually have a short that's going to release in the next day or so where I speculate wildly, just for fun, on what they actually look like. But basically, most of the enemies that you encounter in the reactors are machines of some kind, and understandably so. They're supposed to be. Well, I guess they're not really that different from the way a lot of power plants work now. There's not a lot of people that work in most of them. It's mostly robotic. So Shinra's security, who is trying to keep us out, is understandably also robots. There is something so off-putting about the way these guys move. Like, why do they move like that? It doesn't feel menacing. It's like they're stooped down to your level, like, hey, little fella, I'm gonna get you. Oh, I sure am. Like, the next thing you know, he's gonna try to get Barrett's nose, and it is just not gonna go real well. No, it sure is not. And then we have peacock feather, popsicle, lollipop, eyeball people. If you notice, one thing that's really cool about Barrett is that he has a ranged weapon. He has a gun arm. And this game, when you are lined up in battle, you can be in the front row or the back row. So if you use a melee weapon, you have to, if you're in the back row, you're going to do less damage because your character, in theory, is having to move further each turn to have to hit somebody. But if a character like Barrett is in the back row, he's not affected by that. So you can kind of protect him from damage by keeping him in the back row because he doesn't have to be in the front row to do max damage. From what I understand, the current Steam version of this game actually remedies this problem and does autosave, but I am actually playing this on a Nintendo Switch because there is not a Mac version of Final Fantasy VII as far as I'm aware. Actually, if anybody's out there and is running like the most current version of a Mac, like I have a Mac M2 Pro that I'm running, or Mac Mini M2 Pro, and I have not been able to get Steam to install on my computer so that I can play Steam, and it is really, really irritating me. And if anybody has had similar issues, because it won't update, because it won't connect to the internet, and I have given it every permission I can give it, and you know what? I'm just going to shut up now. But yeah, we're playing this on the Nintendo Switch. So the saving situation is more like the original PS1. And while we're in here, we're just going to, because I have to, I obviously you can tell by looking at my set here that I'm very particular about color. And that blue just won't do. We gotta make it match the rest of the screen. You know what? We're just going to mute the game for the moment because that is annoying. That is very, very annoying. Just one sec. I am almost done. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Isn't that pretty though? It matches our game. So, all right. Now we're good. So every time, if you're playing this, on an emulator and you're playing the original PS1 ROM, you're playing it on a PS1, you're playing it on the Switch, save. Every time you see one of those guys, save. You will not regret it. You will regret not saving. I've actually had it happen to me while I've been streaming that I've forgotten to save before I close my game out. I lost like 2 hours in Corel. The last time before last that I streamed on Twitch because I forgot to save. And I have some long plays coming out of that stuff. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to mesh that with what I have existing. It's probably just going to end up getting turned into shorts across the board because I would rather use this playthrough. I'm taking what I learned over there and trying to make this one better so that I can actually, this can actually be used as a guide, I hope. Or at least it'll be fun to watch while you're working, so that when you get off work and you turn on Final Fantasy VII Remake on your Switch 2, you have a little background info. Like, you're coming in prepared. Like, you know the story beats. Or at least you can use this after you've played Remake to understand things better. Maybe one of the most important materias you get in the game, and we'll talk a little bit about what materia is. There's a more appropriate time to discuss that, but that is a big pickup. Pick that up. Pick up every item you see. I don't care what it is. There's not any item in this game that you're going to regret picking up. Let's just say that. So they're going to blow the reactor up. He's going to make Cloud set the bomb, which I think, honestly, is probably because Cloud has gloves on. And also, Cloud has use of both of his hands. You know, it hadn't occurred to me until now that probably is why Barrett has Cloud set the bomb. I've always thought it's like, well, he wants Cloud's fingerprints on it. No. No, he does not. The problem is Barrett doesn't have full use of both of his arms or both of his hands, and it's probably maybe not something he's able to do. Because one of his hands is a firearm. So Cloud, throughout the first couple hours of the game, has these very ambiguous sort of... You hear the ringing noise, the background changes, and Cloud's mind will say something cryptic. That's kind of our first clue that maybe our hero isn't quite, you know, he's having some problems. He's got some troubles. I am currently talking to myself and recording this, but you know, this is just part of how all this works. I got to pay my dues, and we are paying them right here. So I am talking like somebody's listening, and when somebody tunes in, they can ask me questions, and this is just going to get even better. So if you are watching this post, tune in when we go live, and subscribe so that you know when we do go live. I typically try to go Sunday morning and then one other night sometime during the week. Sometimes on Friday or Saturday night. Like, I don't have a strict schedule outside of Sunday morning, but I typically stream it from like 8:30 in the morning to about, you know, lunchish. About the time I start getting too hungry and have to eat something other than a protein bar. And I did something dumb, because I got that materia and forgot to equip it right away. So I don't have like a magic way to heal myself right now. So I'm using a consumable item, which is kind of less than ideal, but we have them. We start the game with them. It assumes that you're going to need them. But we'll learn how to prevent having to use these consumable items quite so much here shortly. Okay. So what we want to do, despite the on-screen instructions, that it seems very much like he's telling you to attack while his tail's up. So what we're going to do, actually, is we're going to move them both to the back row while his tail's up so that our turn passes. And, you know, I'm just going to... I've never actually tried this tactic before. So there goes down the tail, and he didn't attack us, because normally he would hit us with a laser attack that'll do, at this stage of the game, pretty devastating damage. It'll do, you know, 150, 175, and if you're low, it'll get you. So what we did was just avoid that. You gotta stay smart, you know. It's only taken me like 50 playthroughs of this game to get smart about that, but let me be an example to you. Don't repeat my mistakes. Just gotta check one thing real quick. I kind of let this play out a second. I apologize. This will be edited out of the final version. Sorry about that. Okay, so you have a 10-minute timer, which seems very dire. It isn't. 10 minutes is ample time for you to get out of here. It is more than enough. Don't stress. Don't worry. Like, it's all good. Also, when you change the colors of your background, it makes it easier for you to tell your save files apart. Okay. Okay, so if you get hit in the back with a attack from the back like that, what you can do is hold down both your shoulder buttons, R1 and L1, and your characters will start to run from the battle. So you just kind of want to hit them for like a split second so that when they stop running, they're turned around the right way. Because otherwise you're going to have to wait for your turn to get turned around. And that whole time, these characters are hitting you in the back and doing extra damage. Okay. We are on our way out. It is really easy. Like, you get these battles and you're on your way out, you're stressing, and you accidentally turn around the wrong way and start heading back into the reactor. That's really the only situation in which you're going to be running the risk of running out of time. Oh, and how the tables have quite literally turned on these guys. I'm going to have to use one of those potions, and when we get done with this battle, I'm going to have to actually equip that restore materia that I keep talking about that I haven't actually equipped yet. Potion. And this game is very, very turn-based. Like, one of the reasons that I kind of like it is, like, as being, you know, a game that I come back to over and over when I'm just having kind of a rough go of it and need to unwind, is because it's not demanding of your reaction time. Like, you can play this game when you've had a rough day and you don't have to worry about, like, oh, you know, I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm not making turns the way that I want, so I better turn off, you know, whatever, you know, other game that I'm playing. Like, my aim sucks tonight. I can't even play video games right. There are very few situations where you're going to be sitting down playing this game and you're not feeling good. And you're like, oh man, I'm so off. I can't even play Final Fantasy VII tonight. And that's something that's kind of wonderful about it. There really aren't enough games like that. And unfortunately, Rebirth isn't even like, or Remake and Rebirth aren't even like that. Okay, I'm trying to go up the ladder. I think oh, right. You can't go up the ladder yet because Jessie's foot is stuck and you have to free her. Thanks. And then she just, like, runs off. Like, thanks. Bye. We gotta go. I mean, I guess I would too, right? Oh, these shuffle wuffle stoopy squat guys. They have bothered me since day one, and I will not stop talking about it. They are an unpleasant looking enemy. I don't like them. They are ugly. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I don't know why they move like that, and I wish they wouldn't. And like, I have a bunch of shorts out right now because they're like cut-ups of my Twitch streams. And I had somebody comment like, why are you so negative? It's like, no, I'm not being negative. I really am not. Like, I am having fun. Like, it is, when you love something as much as I love this game, you can make fun of it without like feeling like you're hating on it. Like, you can, I think that's kind of the definition of loving something is admitting that it's imperfect, and the thing that makes it imperfect is the thing that makes you love it even more. And that's really how I feel about this game. Like, it is glitchy, it is like blocky, and some things about it didn't age well, but it is like mom's home cooking. Like, you know, you're having you feel like the world is ending, and sometimes you just need to live in a universe where you can save it for a few minutes, right? And that's what I love about this game. And that reactor's world is definitely just ended. And mission accomplished for Avalanche. It basically went off without a hitch. There's a bit of subplot in Rebirth surrounding the results of that particular blast. But this one keeps it pretty simple. We accomplished our mission. No notes. We made it out alive. Cloud, in theory, is about to get paid. Jesse's setting the last bomb. And that's kind of the role that Jessie plays in Avalanche, is that she's kind of like the tech girl. She gets their like communicators and bombs and all that stuff. And he's given like big Yosemite Sam, like, my biscuits are burning. Rendezvous at Sector 8 station, split up and get on the train. So Cloud gets a little walking around time now. With no money. Not that I think there's really anything at this stage of the game to buy anyway, but first thing we're going to do is put oh. You know what? I've been saying this whole time that I'm a dummy for not equipping that materia. I can't yet. I don't know what materia is, because I'm at this stage of the game. I've been playing for about 30 minutes. I have fought some guys. I have survived, and we're going to go from there. Now, this is important. Flower girl. It doesn't seem like a safe place for you. Okay. So that's where that interaction ends. Because it just doesn't seem like... It seems like the kindest thing to tell her to scram. And there's a couple of items over here, or one item, excuse me. They typically will kind of like shine when you hit them. Or when they enter the screen. So just kind of watch for anything that looks like it's flashing anywhere. There's usually an item. And my philosophy on this particular section of the game is Cloud could use some levels. These are easy fights. Fight them. It's going to take 10 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. Probably more like 5. Fight him. Let's do this. I think actually what made me want to play this game the first time was that it was turn-based, because it gave you a little bit more room to kind of learn about the game. Like this is a game that you can go so far down the rabbit hole. Like this is the beginning of like layers and layers and volumes and games and games of lore. And I'm kind of feeling like I want to sort of explore like all of it. So really right now my plan is to finish this, and I think I might play Crisis Core next, because I've actually never played Crisis Core. Like I love this game. I've not played a lot of the secondary ones because I never owned a PSP, but we have ways around that now. Plus you can get the remastered one for the Switch, so that may just be what I do. There's not anything you can do about being attacked from both sides other than try to knock out the single guy first so that you can focus on the other two. And most of these guys are like one-shot kills. Like they're not... I mean, there's no reason to use magic on them because they're just going to be wasting it. And you don't have an all spell, so there's no benefit to you being able to target all of them at once. All is what this game uses for area of effect attacks, where you can hit everybody. Where do these guys keep coming from? He doesn't have time to mess around with you guys. Because he already wiped out like 6 of your friends. Again, these graphics were just blowing our minds in 1997. Like, I can't believe this. Like, this is before DVD. Like, we were still watching movies on VHS tapes. So it's just for context. I think most American households and like middle class families, our first introduction to DVDs was when somebody got a PS2. PS2 is a big reason DVDs took off the way they did. So they're just kind of unpacking the mission. They're on the box car. This is the group. We've got Barrett. Biggs is the guy who kind of looks like Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots, and then Jesse, the lady, and Wedge, who is the one closest to us. Barrett's running this operation on a shoestring budget. He does not like to be asked about money. You can't really set up a GoFundMe to take down the government in this universe. Oh, that was... He's so cool. Waltzing in here, fashionably late, with all that Riz. Oh my gosh, I'm over 40. I don't think I'm allowed to say Riz, but sorry. He really doesn't at this point. Cloud's just kind of a lone wolf who's just getting through every day however he can get through it. He's a little bit of a lost soul at this point. He doesn't really stand for anything. He doesn't really have any loyalties because he has kind of nothing. So listen, I wore this shirt because I just want to get this right out in the open. I am aware that as a brunette who wears glasses and has kind of a monotone voice, that this is a comparison that's going to get made. I just want to acknowledge I'm aware. And I honestly, I love it. There are way less cool people to get compared to. Oh, the Shinra manager. If you saw the shorts, you know our Shinra manager character. He is now showing up to work in his burgundy suit that I imagine has got kind of a sheen to it. Upset that the people on the last train maybe aren't his kind of folks. He just wants him to be cool, Cloud. Just be cool. You have no chill. Look, I'm the one doing that, okay? Like, he doesn't do that. And if you get too close to the end of the thing, he kind of reminds me of one of the guards from The Wizard of Oz for some reason. The train hasn't switched to security mode yet. So really what the setting is here is that they're on this train, they're riding to their next mission, or they're riding to go get back to their clubhouse to discuss their next mission. And this train has some sort of ID technology that's like RFID, something wireless that when they pass through a gate, it's going to scan everybody on the train. And if their IDs don't check out, some guys are going to show up and start asking questions and taking people away. So Jessie, being our tech girl, has figured out some kind of IDs for them. We got to talk to Jessie to end this scene. So you want to look at this with me. This does actually kind of explain the nature of the city we're dealing with, because it is a very, very foreign concept. It's not something that exists in our world. So, it's about to start. And this is Midgar in a wireframe map. I'm glad that you took the time to explain that it is not actual size, Jesse. That is extremely helpful. What would we do without you? The top plate is about 50 meters above the ground. So literally, this is a city that exists in layers. There's a top plate, and underneath it, everybody lives on the ground. This is the bottom plate. It's a big circular pizza-shaped city that has little slices called sectors, and in the center is the big Shinra complex, where all the bigwigs are. And there's a support pillar that holds the top up off the bottom. And each sector has a reactor. And the towns used to have names, and now they... You know, honestly, this is real similar to the Hunger Games. That is the best way I know how to describe it. They're like districts, they're sectors in this game. So the train just kind of goes around the middle. And this is what I was talking about with the IDs. I don't really know what it is about them that looks suspicious. Because, I mean, there's other people on the train who are dressed kind of, you know, punk, you know, downtown kind of folks. I mean, it's not like this is a train full of executives and they're showing up dirty and sweaty and covered in bomb juice. And this is a late night downtown train. I mean, it's going to be a cast of characters. And the people who live on the bottom, if I didn't explicitly state this in the game, you know, they can't see the sky on the bottom. They have big light bulbs instead of the sun. And vitamin D supplements must be very, very popular. And it's kind of the people who live on the plate on top who get to see the sky are kind of considered sort of elite. A lot of them work for the Shinra. And understandably, if there's a downstairs that has a roof over it, the air doesn't circulate as cleanly. They have big fans that have to clean their air, and they don't do it particularly well. You've got all that cooking, all those vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine a roof over your city and what that might smell like and feel like to breathe. That they get to touch the ground and the people on the top don't. That's got some big IM-14 and this is deep energy, but you know, it's true. It's an apt metaphor, and you know, we're playing a game here. Maybe they don't need to be completely Shakespearean, you know? Yeah, the Shinra train engineer uniforms, they really kind of look like Wizard of Oz guys, just for some reason. So we're at the train, and we're now in Sector 7. The reactor that we blew up was Sector 8. And we're now in Sector 7, where we're going to meet up with another member of the Avalanche team. We're going to meet at the hideout. I don't remember what is back this direction. There's really no benefit to going back there right now. We do eventually go there. We cannot. I think I may be about to die. Oh no, wait. No, this is doable. Cloud's fought one of these already. I was kind of worried I was going to get some of the little ghosty guys out there. Not to ruin it for the next couple hours, but you do go out there once you've gone up a couple more levels. And I mean, if that's a good tactic to have in this game is, you know, if you aren't doing well, go grind for a little while. There are random encounters all over this game. Go find you some and just keep fighting until you can beat the thing that you can't beat yet. So he's explaining there was a bombing, and at least they didn't go after the plate support because everybody down here would be smashed. And we get a good image of it here. And you see how little... I'm about to point at something on my screen. You see how little Cloud and this man he's speaking to are in comparison with this thing. This is absolutely massive. It's 50 meters high, so it's, you know, 150 feet tall. Give or take. In my head, as a Imperial units user, unfortunately, in my head, 3 feet is roughly a meter, but I know it's about 3.3. So. With subsequent revisions of this game, the translations have improved, but there are just some really kind of unique and interesting mistranslations, or just creative translations. You know, ways that a native speaker wouldn't have termed things sometimes. Oh boy. Well, I think I'm just gonna leave you to that, buddy. Okay. So I believe that I do actually have to go in the bar before I can do anything. Okay, so we're getting ready to go in the bar and be introduced to a new character. Okay, Barrett, damn. Okay, buddy, I'm just trying to talk. Just chilling, gosh. Actually, we're introduced to a few characters here. So Marlene is Barrett's little girl. Yeah, sure did. Can't you see how badly beaten I am? Because Cloud would be hamburger. So Tifa, as we're inferring here when she's talking about when he was little, is a childhood friend of Cloud's. She is actually the reason he got involved with this group, because basically she ran into him in Midgar. He seemed down on his luck and she had a job to offer. So this is Cloud's first mercenary job since he's returned back to Midgar from whatever happened with the Shinra military that caused him to leave Soldier. Tifa really knows how to cook. Tifa always lets me taste her cooking, and look at me now, I'm roly-poly. Apparently she sells eggs and chips in Remake. She's got a big neon sign on the side of the bar that says eggs and chips, which, I mean, sounds great. I think big tough guy who's super gentle with children is my favorite type of character. Because Barrett, he is a tough customer when the situation calls for it. He's a big teddy bear. He is a good man at his heart. He's not a bad guy at all. I love Barrett as a character. It seems strange to me that Soldier seems to have a uniform, and Barrett doesn't seem familiar with what those uniforms would have looked like. And Cloud, as guys his age tend to do, is just kind of being a little cocky and a little postury, like, oh well, if any of my people were there, you wouldn't have stood a chance. And Barrett, as the dad of this ragtag bunch of children, lays down the law and takes Cloud down a peg, which he probably needs at this point. I mean... Ooh! Ooh, getting up in his face. I want to talk about my money. Wait, Cloud. Yeah, well, he doesn't stand for anything but, for whatever it's worth, the Shinra had paid him and you have not yet, so... I don't care about anything. I just care about cash money. I'm leaving up this pinball machine elevator and ain't nobody gonna stop me. Incoming, someone who's going to stop him. She's just trying to keep him around, really, because again, he seemed down on his luck. He seemed troubled. She's a childhood friend of his. She kind of just wants to keep an eye on him, really, make sure he's all right. And we get a little bit of background information on things, times they've had together. And this is in their hometown of Nibelheim, which is half a world away from where they are now. Little Cloud and his little green shorts. Tifa rocking a very on-trend for 1997 turquoise pair of wedges and a sundress. So Cloud left to go to the big city to join the military to try to make something of himself. I want to join Soldier. I'll even cut off my little bubby child ponytail. And Sephiroth is, at this stage in the world, is known as kind of like a war hero. He's on TV a lot. He's the Shinra's favorite son. He is protector of all of Shinra's interests. And Tifa's kind of giggling, it looks like. This is kind of an old-timey world because she's asking, like, well, if you make it, are you going to be in the paper? Like she wouldn't have any other way of finding out about it. So presumably there's not a lot of like television news in the little town they grew up in. And it does look very, very old school. Like Nibelheim honestly kind of looks like the town from some of the Studio Ghibli movies that are set in Europe, like Kiki's Delivery Service. That's kind of what Nibelheim looks like. Yeah, Cloud was a made man in a lab. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm not sure how we're doing spoilers this time. He doesn't even need the pinball machine elevator. He's just climbing up the pipes like a boss. Yeah, Cloud had to threaten to leave to get his money. 1,500 gil. Go get me a McDonald's cheeseburger. 6-pack. And not a whole lot else. Oh. And the next job's going to pay 2,000. It's never a good time when you wake up on the floor somewhere, especially somewhere that's using little blocks as chairs. Good morning, Cloud. Did you sleep well in the corner that we didn't even give you a blanket for? Stop joking around. Barrett's on edge right now. He might smack you. Tifa's coming this time. Yeah, I know. You're going this time. They're going to the Sector 5 reactor this time. Yeah, so we're all going to learn about materia when Barrett learns about materia. So I will go ahead and go through the tutorials so that those watching who are new to this game, which this does work quite a lot different than it does in Remake. So you may be, kind of confused right now. So you first you're going to access the menu, and we now have an option that we didn't have a few minutes ago when I went into the menu. Yeah. We understand controls, Cloud. Let's get down to meat and potatoes here, bud. Yeah. This really puts us in a very important historical context that we're explaining how menus work in this game because they were a new concept. Yep, we're gonna select who you want to use the materia. Okay, so this is the part you need to understand. So basically every piece of weapon and armor in this game, you have slots in it for materia. Some of them are joined like this, so they've got a little, channel that runs between them so that they can kind of mingle and use the same, one can affect the other. And you have these little balls called materia that have spells or powers or buffs or debuffs or whatever. Any kind of magic or status type of thing comes from materia in this game. We've already selected battle commands. We're now going to have more magic at our disposal. Those two spells that Cloud has had up until this point, Bolt and Ice, those are materia spells. So... And that's all there is. It's going to be easier if I just explain it. No, it wasn't that tough, Cloud. No, we understand menus, buddy. It's 2026. We are 29 years deep into menus, and we are just trying to exit them. Okay, and one important thing is that any materia you equip, and at least in general, most materia you equip is going to affect different stats. In general, magic materia, the green kind, the kind that you can use to cast spells, will make your HP go down. So if you have a character who has a low HP anyway, which a lot of the magic users in this game are, you may not want to load them up with tons and tons of materia, or you may want to use other types to balance that out. There are materias later in the game that can make your HP go up. Yeah, it's wise to not overuse magic materia, but you just try it out. There's some really wild combinations we'll get into later, but this is baby's first materia orb. Yeah, he'll give us some advanced tips later. I don't know if I'm going to have Cloud guide us through that. We're just going to learn about materia as we go. He's just going to put us in charge of it. He is awfully trusting. Tifa is leaving Marlene, who I read is 4 years old, in charge of her alcohol distribution establishment. By herself. In a dystopian slum. Certainly nothing bad could happen. Marlene will not be harmed. She's got plot armor. Oh, you can sell the really good medicine in the slums, believe me. That's not a good joke. Okay. All right. Fire, ice, lightning, restore. We don't have a fire. Let's buy one. We do kind of want to not waste all our money on materia at this point because we do have other things we need to buy. Oops. Nope. See, this is what I mean about the D-pad. You kind of want to give a wide berth to doors, basically. I wasn't planning on leaving here without buying something. I'm gonna buy some iron bangles and an assault gun. Okay, so now I can kind of show you how you set people up. So we got Cloud's Buster Sword and an iron bangle that has one unlinked materia slot. Equip. Okay. We're gonna give Barrett a better weapon and better armor. This is the only weapon we have for Tifa right now. I believe we actually get another one in the next mission that we're getting. But right now, she has got a weapon and armor that each have one unlinked materia slot. So actually, we're going to wait on equipping materia till we go upstairs because that thing that the weapon shop man has that Tifa is sending us after is actually a very useful piece of kit that we're going to need. Okay. This is the fabled save point. At a save point, you can use a tent and or select save. You can also do something else there, but right now it's a secret. Okay. The thing she's talking about is using a tent to rest at a save point. I forgot, up until this point, we haven't actually seen treasure chests. Oh, no. We do not need to talk about how to do the buttons. I think we're good. I have to actually put that there. Okay, this is the beginner's hall. You say you're a beginner, but your eyes say you're not. That's all. You get an all materia in here, and I need to find out how you get that. Yeah. And this will be edited out in the final version. Okay, limit breaks are another thing that we kind of need to discuss in this game. So limit breaks are when the game, or when you have taken enough damage that you have accumulated basically anger about being damaged, that you now have reached your limit and you're going to break, and you have a special attack that you do when that happens. As you go up levels, you take on more damage before you get a limit break, and then the limit breaks are stronger. How do I get the materia? I don't remember. Now I'm going to have to go to the walkthrough because I'm a little embarrassed to say this. I am pretty sure he gives you get an all materia in here somewhere, and I don't know where. Oh. You know what? I haven't even gone further enough on the screen to, yep, there it is. There it is. I am so dumb. Here, take this treasure chest. Oh, I get other stuff. I remembered him dropping the treasure chest. Ether is like a potion, but it's for your MP, so it makes it so that you can cast more magic again. We're full health, so we don't have to go upstairs. There is an inn upstairs if you ever do end up in this area and you don't have any HP. Okay, so where do I actually go after this? I think we just go to the train station. Yeah, we go to the train station. So we just got to go up here. Oh, here's the group. And for my people joining me from Rebirth, here we have Johnny. A much less fleshed out character in this game, but yeah, Johnny is in this game. And what do we do when we see a save point, kids? We save. No, I don't want to save over that one. Okay. Taken over the train car, and we have our beloved Shinra manager. Again, he just keeps seeing them over and over and over again. He's like the butt monkey of the Shinra Corporation. He's just trying to do a job and go home, and people just keep frustrating him. I think what the Shinra manager needs to do is find himself a nice work from home job where he deals with spreadsheets all day. I think he would enjoy that. You're kind of being a little bit of a Karen. The Shinra manager is a Karen. There, I said it. And for more controversial opinions, subscribe. You're busting up my rhythm. Yeah, well, I think you just busted up the Shinra manager's rhythm, and that wasn't very nice, was it, Barrett? Okay, so it's the security checkpoint with the IDs. Their fake IDs have gotten flagged, so they've got 3 more minutes for the ID checkpoint. And they're not quite sure. They're jumping off the train in 3 minutes. Certainly dials down the risk and danger quite a lot, jumping off the train. How would she know that? Like, it looks like you've seen this already. How? You know what happened last night? I guarantee you. Her and Jesse were up late, like sitting there, girl talking. Oh, you know what? I showed Cloud the wireframe on the train, and he got in all close, like. And now Tifa has got to make sure that, that she has his attention as well. That's odd. You know, the security checkpoint was supposed to be in 3 minutes. It's been about, if I hadn't been talking, about 10 seconds. And the Shinra goon squad is going to come running in here to figure out who's on here or shouldn't be. Yeah, we got 13 seconds to get off of this screen. I can make a suggestion. Just there's a guy in this train car who's going to try to steal some of your money. I think it's Johnny again, actually. No, it's this punk rock looking guy. Yeah, you know what? I haven't got time to deal with you. It is a token amount of money. I don't care. To go around. All right, we made it. Get out of my way, Tifa. Oh, there she is. She's out of my way now. Are you sure dive's the word you want to use? Because dive suggests that we're going head first, or maybe hands first, and I don't think either of those is a great option. Just a hunch, just some thoughts. Scary, huh? Jumping off the train. Watch closely. I'm gonna jump. Does anybody say watch closely in real life? Like, people say it in video games all the time. Like, I don't think of watch closely. I'm about to turn into this parking lot and get us some coffee. Off we go. And with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse that are in the foreground here. Biggs is wearing a fake beard. Jesse is wearing a shirty uniform. And Wedge is dressed up like a little boy in Oshkosh Bagosh overalls, which is just too adorable for words. Okay. Now, I just want to show you this. You are actually supposed to go away from the camera when you enter that screen. If you go toward the camera and you keep going toward the camera, eventually you're going to get to the end where there's like literally just a door where low-level Shinra like grunts will come out of. You know, that's accurate. Sort of like Get His Ass is the new Seize Him. Seize him! Get his ass. Like, it's the same energy. I did a little bit of experimenting with the original PS1 ROM the other day because I thought about maybe doing that. And I do have to say that in comparison, now that I'm seeing this, this is much, much smoother, that it's upscaled nicely. Like this is the version I would probably play. I mean, unless you're really, really absolutely committed to using OG hardware or, you know, you don't have any other way to play it, I probably wouldn't use the PS1 version at this point. Or unless you really get a great deal of amusement out of bad translation and glitchy stuff. Yeah, this is where we're headed. More Shinra security. They're kind of living in a surveillance state, and we're talking about this 30 years ago. Why am I looking inside? I don't want to look inside. Doesn't seem to be anything that'll get us stuck. We're just climbing down into the duct. Barrett's shoulders seem too large to fit in that hole, but he's going to come with us anyway because he's a trooper. And we're in this big area. It looks like you've got levels and levels and levels that you have to explore. You really don't here. A lot of this isn't accessible. It's really just set dressing. Your actual path is pretty straightforward through here. It wouldn't have killed him to have him crawling toward us. But no, we had to get Cloud Butt. I think I went down the wrong side. No, this is the right way. And we have a bunch of rejected Pokemon. Like, this particular group of enemies seems very, very uncharacteristic because I had said earlier, and it's true, that a lot of the enemies that you fight in reactors are either machines or they're like military people. And these are fish. Fish and a seahorse that I've already taken care of. And they look like Pokemon. They look like rejected Pokemon. Like, these guys didn't even make it into Pal World. They're in one of those like fake like Apple, you know, shovelware app store games. It's like Pal Land Topia. I think there were so many fake Animal Crossing games out after Animal Crossing New Horizons came out on all those like iOS platforms that they charge you like $34 a day to use. I made that mistake one time, and it was like some puzzle game that literally had a subscription that was $19 a week to play like Mahjong. And they just hope that you don't notice, and that you know who gets taken in by that? Rich old ladies, like, because they're just, oh, you know, they got more money than God and more time than anything. Just sit around and play puzzle games. This one seems fun. Lo and behold, like within a month, they've spent like $1,000 on it. I mean, it's predatory. It's a mess. But yeah, that's who falls for that is little old ladies and parents who aren't paying attention to what their kids download. In fact, they're betting on parents not paying attention. Like, oh, I'm playing Pokemon, Mom. That costs $35 a day to play. That's a good point. I am in the lower part of the reactor where the water intake is. Maybe they're just kind of mutating from regular fish and swimming up the pipes and attacking us. How's audio, video quality? Is anything freezing or anything like that? And this may be looking very familiar to you because this reactor is more or less identical from this point on from the last reactor we were in. And if you, like me, had just started this game and you're now saying, am I going to have to do this on all 8 of these? And are they all the same? The answer is no. You actually really only visit 2 of these, and this is the second one. So we get varied and exciting and deep gameplay from here forward. I promise this is not all this game is, but back when I played it the first time, especially since I hadn't read through the guide yet, I thought we were just going to do this 8 times across 3 discs. I still need to show you guys how to set up the materia. Now, these guys are just basically almost like turrets. We could slot them right into Portal and not miss a beat. I am probably going to have to switch controllers here shortly because my controller's dying. But that's fine. I have no shortage of controllers. We got this. As you can see. You know, I think that my least favorite type of battle in this game is an enemy like this that doesn't really move, doesn't really do anything, is not visually interesting or particularly fun to fight, but also seems to have a lot of HP, attacks you a lot, come in large groups, which at this stage of the game, fighting large groups doesn't really benefit you. I mean, it does all the time, but this is not a stage of the game where that's going to be a focus for you. So I'm going to give Barret the all restore. So Barret's now able to heal the team. I'm not that worried about Barret having some kind of offensive magic spell because he has a gun. And your concern with someone like Tifa is that there are enemies that fly. There's enemies that are on, you know, in locations that she can't reach. And she just will be flat out useless without magic. That actually happened to me the last playthrough I did on Twitch. And I died leaving the Shinra building because it was a situation like that. And I went into the battle with no magic materia equipped because, you know, like this time I was talking. I got a little too comfortable with the idea that I've played through this game this many times that I feel like I don't need to pay attention. It is not muscle memory. There is a lot to remember about this game. I do have a strategy guide open, so I have a strategy guide and a checklist of like things I want to make sure that I highlight when I go through so that I don't miss anything, and I still miss things. Like a factor in why I wanted to restart the game is because I missed the added effect materia later in the game because I was talking and forgot to go down that particular little path and didn't get it. And that's like my favorite materia in the game. So it's not the whole reason. I don't want to seem like I'm petty that I'm going to restart some 50-hour campaign of a game for one spell, but you know, it is a benefit to me restarting that I'm going to have my added effect materia on this playthrough. So that makes me happy. Okay, so that one goes by so fast you almost get confused if you're not paying attention about whether or not anything's happened yet, and you'll just sit there thinking that you haven't done anything yet. But that's really all there is to that particular interaction. Is Tifa sets the bomb and you turn around and go back. That's not actually where the interest is in this particular reactor. The boss is later. Okay. And most of these are just super, super routine. The thing that's interesting about that particular like red dog thing is we do actually fight a boss later that's a blue version of that dog. So that's kind of a recurring that like, it is cool. Like the little like greyhound looking guys with the tentacle. But you see that motif in a lot of the enemies because obviously the makers of the game thought it was cool too. He's so cool. You notice we came in on that slide and now we're kind of leaving the same way that we left the other reactor. So we're going to be leaving through a different path. So we don't have to repeat that, which is kind of nice. And these poison smogger guys, we're just going to get rid of y'all. And since that machine gun thing's in the back row, we're going to try to take care of that with magic before we get to it. Now, Tifa's limit breaks, if you notice when I selected her limit break, something popped up that almost looks like a slot machine. That is how Tifa's limit breaks work. And that is a big part of the reason I don't use Tifa, because I am terrible at any kind of game that involves you having to line something up. And her whole thing, like you know, the little slot card game in Mario 3, yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at the slots in Mario 2. Like, I am just not good at like slot machine mechanic type things. That being said, there is another character who has slot machine style limit breaks that I love in spite of that, but Tifa just isn't doing enough for me with that limit break. It's not reliable enough to me. Because you don't typically get criticals with her limit break unless you actually land a critical in the slots, and some of the later ones it's next to impossible to get that. So we got another ether. We're going to see if I can get this on the first try. So this particular little task we're about to do is all three, me, Tifa, and Barrett. I'll have to hit this button at the same time. 1, 2. Oh, that's how a professional does it. I have never done that before in my life. Oh my gosh. And my controller just died. So give me just a second. Okay. All right. Okay. got my new controller. This actually is an OEM Switch Pro controller. It's just got a extreme rate skin. I actually had to take it completely apart and put it back together and replace the actual shell of the controller. And my Switch is modded in a similar way, and I've got the light up dock. Like, the whole thing was like, I think all in on everything I did to my Switch was like $75, but it's like one of a kind now. I have a second Pro controller I'm thinking about reskinning in the pink jelly, just because I think it would be pretty. Taking the controller apart's really easy. Now, taking the system apart and the Joy-Cons especially is a pain in the butt, and my husband actually did help me with that. But this I did by myself. You see, now that I even have the magic and, equipped now, and I just don't use it very much because these low-level enemies, you don't need it. And it's just kind of a waste of MP. I mean, if you're using MP on every fight, you're going to have to use more ethers and have to rest more. And it's just going to bust up the flow in your game. Like, everybody kind of has their own play style. And I like that, this game, there isn't one right way to play it, but my way of playing it is being pretty minimalist with my use of MP. Here come the soldiers from the Wizard of Oz again. Yeah, they have set a trap for you. They knew you were coming. They've been on to you for a little while now. I think we have to assume that President Shinra, who is speaking here, was briefed on who these people are, because it seems very, very unlikely that he would have been like, oh yeah, that one soldier who was like kind of low in my my entire military for an entire country, actually an entire world. The Shinra kind of rules the entire world. Sephiroth, at this point, the best TLDR I can give you is absolute power corrupts absolutely, and he is one of the most absolutely powerful beings on the planet at this juncture in the game. He's kind of shrouded in mystery. Remake introduced Sephiroth to you much, much, much earlier than this game does. I don't think you actually see Sephiroth like in the flesh. I mean, you see him in a flashback. Do we see him before we leave Midgar at all? I think we do briefly. Yeah, we do. We see him carrying we see him carrying some things later. Like, listen, like, I'm not going to guarantee spoilers. My last playthrough, I was just like throwing them out there. Like, yep, this is what happens. And then I realized that there are a lot of people who are on platforms right now that they can't play the second game. And none of the players of the new game know how the story ends at this point, unless they're playing what I'm playing. And at that point, if you know, it's not a spoiler anymore. So I'm going to try to be a little gentler with that. Like, there is a big plot point that if you have any interest in this game at all, you have stumbled across. I guarantee it. And if you haven't, I would like to know how you did it, because there is not really any discussion of this game at all, even in mainstream video game press, where that is not discussed. So I'm not going to mention it right now, but if you somehow are not aware of anything that happens after the end of Remake, and you've avoided spoilers for this game, I want to know how you did it. I want to know how you managed to do that, because I'm just impressed. And he's called the Airbuster, and Barrett's gonna bust him. Bustin'. Everybody could use an ether, because none of these players have particularly a lot of MP. Every one of them has magic spells that use between 4 and 5 each time. So, you know, 60 or so gets burnt up pretty quick in a long battle. So again, that's another reason to kind of adopt the policy of being a little bit, you know, minimalist with your MP use. We don't need to cure yet. Okay. One thing that this enemy is actually particularly weak to is lightning, because he's a machine. And elements are very, very self-explanatory in this game. If it's a machine, it's probably weak to lightning. If it's a plant, it's probably weak to fire. Stuff that makes sense. Not all RPGs, not all games that deal with elements, it's that intuitive, or sometimes it's just kind of nonsensical. And sometimes it is kind of a tactic when we're talking about limit breaks with this game that you can actually try to get more, allow yourself to become more damaged before you heal, so that your limit breaks. And that is not a tactic. That is a terrible tragedy of an incident, and we are going to remedy that right away. I will die on this hill. Pokemon needed guns, and I am a Pal World player, and I love that game. No. Oh, he's going to use it on Cloud. He's going to kill him again. See, this is... Big Bomber's out of ammo, at least. Okay, the next thing we're doing is healing, because I don't have any way of bringing Cloud back right now. Cloud, we have a long stretch of storyline that we're not going to have to fight much after this, but Cloud, unfortunately, is going to miss out on the XP from this battle because I don't have any way to bring him back. I should have bought some Phoenix Downs, and I didn't. Learn from my mistakes. Do as I say, not as I do. $14. Yeah, we're not doing that. He takes more damage if you hit him in the back, too. So when he's turned away from you, you should try to take advantage of that. Like, I'm right now not going to waste my limit break on him until he turns around. Oh, of course he had to turn around. Like, I have a feeling that this round of limit breaks is going to take care of him. Like, this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. I mean, it's not good that Cloud's dead, but you know. He's not really dead, he's unconscious. To paraphrase Billy Crystal in The Princess Bride, sometimes he's dead, sometimes he's not completely dead, sometimes he's really dead. Cloud's just partially dead. Now, if he falls off of this thing and lands somewhere he shouldn't, he's not going to make it, but, you know, he's fine. Everything's fine. What is he gonna do? Yeah, he can't do anything. Please don't die. You can't die. There's still so much I want to tell you. I know, Tifa. Why don't you yell it across this chasm while I'm hanging on with a gloved hand? I don't know if I can hold on. Barrett, hurry. Don't go crying. This is really not the time for that, Barrett. Like, do something or shut up. Also, you might be in trouble still, too. How do you know there's not another airbuster coming? GTFO, bud. Don't worry, Cloud. If you die, I'll take care of your woman. Tifa's not Cloud's woman at this stage of the game. Who's speaking to him? I always think the juxtaposition of, oh, it moved. How about that? It's cute. We don't know who this voice is that's speaking to him, like on the black screen. The one that's in the dialogue box is a character we're about to meet. Again. Hello, hello. So here we're introduced once again to the young lady in the pink dress who we met as Flower Girl the last time, who has a patch of flowers growing in this abandoned church that Cloud landed on to break his fall. They did meet briefly. He told her to get out of here, but he did meet her. I was mean to her last time. I'm just going to be neutral this time. You know, everybody has a first time to learn things about games, McNopersons. Maybe this is their first RPG and they need a little help. Aerith's materia is not good for nothing. It is very important. And she wears it like a piece of jewelry because she doesn't know what it does. When she turns around, you'll see a little green, what looks like a jewel in her hair bow. That's her materia. That's where she keeps it. And she's going to look at her flowers, and I'm going to put my Cloud up for a minute. We don't know each other's names. We know her as Flower Girl right now. And that is not her name. That is not her name, and that is not what we will be calling her. That's better. Aerith is spelled with a TH. Forever. Always. He does whatever's needed. He does. He's just a tough guy for hire, like a 6-year-old boy carrying in the groceries. He does tough guy stuff and does cool stuff all day. And he is like a little kid's version of what a tough guy is, like an action figure. Cloud wants to be an action figure. Don't mind me. Cloud, have you ever been a bodyguard? He kind of was a bodyguard for Avalanche just a little while ago. In fact, I suppose he technically is still on the clock, so he's kind of double dipping right now. No, lady. You know what? I've already had to deal with somebody being a deadbeat on paying me. We are doing net plus 30. Okay, if I don't, I will invoice you. And this is that same voice that was in Cloud's head when he was unconscious. Like it's not him speaking out loud. The voice, the no background text is something inside of Cloud that's kind of speaking to him. It's almost like it's kind of reminding him of things he forgets from time to time. This man we're speaking to, Reno, is a member of an organization within Shinra called the Turks. The best way I know how to describe the Turks is they're kind of like a CIA, FBI, Men in Black kind of shadow organization that kind of does the Shinra's dirty work. Like people like the Turks tend to have like very innocuous sounding names for the terrifying stuff they do. Like he's an auditor, or he's a cleaner, he's a fixer. The Turks are like fixers. In reality, they kind of fall in somewhere between the Men in Black and Team Rocket in this game. Like they're also kind of just like a periodic nuisance who comes in to crack some jokes and have some fights and then leave for a little while until they turn back up again. Reno and his very weird to parse out hair in this low poly environment. Like there's just spikes and money pieces and a ponytail, and he is like goth club kid in front, little bubby child in the back. Like everybody has got those pitiful little rat tail ponytails in this universe, and I just, it's just not cute. It's just not a good look. All right, where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to like jump on this thing? Yeah. They are over there. Oh no, wait, she's part of my party, so she's in me right now. It's a weird thing. Like I know when I stop to talk to my friends in the middle of us doing something important, when I need to talk to them, one of them pops out of my butt. I mean, that's just that isn't that how everybody does it? Yeah, we got stuff to do, friendo. Jump in my butt so you can hide in there. I'll let you come out if we need to talk about anything important. That one's not getting clipped. No, sir. Damn. What's that? You know what? I usually tell Aerith to fight him. Like I have the same attitude about this particular like task that I do about the thing with the soldiers a little while ago with Cloud. Like she is fresh out of the box. She has not fought anybody. Like she could use the experience. She could use the XP. You really don't have a whole lot to gain unless you're playing this in an environment where you get achievements of knocking over the barrels properly. Like it's easier. It's faster. I don't feel like you get any kind of reward for doing the barrels other than your time back. Like, I'm fine wasting some time. Like, normally when I play this and I'm not doing it live with other people watching, I grind a lot. Because I kind of want to be able to get through it quickly. Or not quickly, but, you know, easily. So I'd rather kind of over-level. Especially if you're kind of doing this as like a way to have like a casual playthrough. Like, you don't want to be, you know, fighting for your life on every battle. So, you know, spend 30 minutes, build your levels up, and just coast. I don't always do that, but that's typically if it's a solo playthrough that's just for my own enjoyment, that's typically the tactic I use. I am thinking that this morning I am probably going to wrap up around 10:30. That's gives us a nice round 2 hours to work with. This has taken a little longer than my first couple of streams did because I've been trying to make a greater effort to make sure that I'm explaining things and trying to go a little slower because I'm a bit of a speed reader. So I tend to rush through dialogue boxes a lot. So if you're watching this and that is getting to you and it's bothering you, please say something to me because I will just get in a groove and I will rush through this stuff. Cloud, help! Fight him. Hit him with your stick. Give him the stick. Give him the stick. See, here's a blue version of those same little red dog guys. Like, Aerith is not great at this stage of the game. Like, she's really not, you know... She's a little disappointing as far as her HP, and she doesn't come with any materia is the only drawback, and I don't really have any way of being able to set her up, because technically she's not in my party, because she's existing outside of me right now. Is she coming? Cloud, help. I think this is the last one. Just fight him. Oh, all right. I mean, it's in context of the narrative of the game. It is a little bit of a dick move for him to tell her to fight them after she just hired him as a bodyguard like 5 minutes later. Cloud, help! Bodyguard! I'm doing stuff. I'm busy. You're gonna handle this, right?
Cloud, help!
Do I have any grenades in my inventory? That's a real good way to get rid of these dudes. Deadly waste. Why not? Bye-bye. Or is she? Okay, yeah, she's coming. Yeah, I thought that might have been the last one. Jump into the great white void. So Aerith, despite her kind of soft and sweet appearance, has lived a pretty gritty life, and the fact that she's able to still sort of project this, you know, beauty and life and optimism is just kind of a testament to how resilient she is. Aerith is kind of like the flowers that grow in her church. Like they're beautiful and they're delicate and they can survive things that a normal organism can't. So the Shinra have been after her, and I think at this point that Aerith is kind of playing dumb a little bit, because she knows what her secret is here, but she's basically like she's trying to keep it light. Like, I think that she just met this person. She doesn't want to give away all her secrets. He does know the Shinra are after her, and he's like, well, why? And she's like, well, I don't know. Maybe they want to recruit me for soldier. You know, she's good with people. I think she knows that he was going to accept that answer from her, and she doesn't really want to explain beyond that because he's on a need-to-know basis yet. He hasn't earned more than that. And if he keeps running off and leaving her, he ain't gonna earn that. Again, like a little kid, he's just like, they open up the van. Okay, we're going in the store now, and like the parents haven't even gotten their keys in their pocket. The kid's like at the back of the store. I'm glad. Yay, store! One of the better tracks in the game, as far as I'm concerned. This has just got a feel to it. I love it. My house is over here. Hurry up. Not before we save, young lady. Okay, it's 10:16. I'm gonna go for a little while longer. I think like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up about 10:30. 2 hours is is a good stream. I mean, I might be back later. I don't know. I want to get through cutting and chopping up and reviewing what we've done so far this morning. And, you know, I don't have anything else going on, but I'm just an adult who has grown up things that they need to take care of. Sunday morning tends to be my video game morning. This guy is sick. Now, in the original mistranslation, the English version, the PS1 one, she says this guy are sick. And for whatever reason, like the community has just kind of latched onto that one as being sort of like a meme. That guy are sick. He looks like he are very sick. With his TV and his little Quonset hut. So this is our first introduction of the guys with the number tattoos. So just take a note of that for later. You're going to encounter several more people with similar number tattoos. Okay, I am just going to go over here to... I'm going to go get these items, and then I'm going to save. And then we're going to save. And this is a good logical stopping point. The next piece of storyline does take a little while. So I think this is where we're going to leave it this morning. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're watching this post, I hope you have a great day wherever you are and whenever this is. And I will be back with more. Have a great day.